against Mark Young. Let's take a look at the challenger, Mark Young, and what he brings to the ring today.
When the matchmakers set this fight, they wanted a good opponent for Jeremy Williams. And in 29-year-old Mark Young, they have just that. Young is a tough customer, and in his last fight here in the heavyweight explosion with Buster Mathis Jr., he proved that. But Young felt that he could have been in better condition. That might have changed the loss in 10 rounds into a victory.
Well, I fought Buster Mathis. I had 2 weeks to train, and I feel another week, I've been more prepared for him, and my weight was up. Not making any excuses, he beat me, but in condition with the fight that we both fought, I feel like in condition I would have prevailed.
Young has always had great respect for all of his opponents, but feels that he can take advantage of young Jeremy Williams here today in Atlantic City.
He's not been tested. He's not been tested by no one like me. And I think he has a suspect chin. I think I hit him right. He going down. And I most definitely be the winner.
In only his 22nd professional fight, Young is far more experienced than the number of fights he has on his card. With his trainer, Billy Early, Young doesn't feel he'll be nervous at all as he fights on worldwide television here from Atlantic City against Jeremy Williams.
No, I won't be nervous. I'm past that stage. I'm here to, to show the world my best, finally show the world my best. Not locally, the whole wide world against Jeremy Williams. And like I say, I'll come to win. I'll come to win it all.
Well, of course, a very dedicated fighter in Mark Young. He's 29 years of age and realizes that time has come for him to literally put up or shut up here at Resorts International and fighting undefeated Jeremy Williams, and that is our main feature fight coming up today. As a matter of fact, just a few moments away as Williams tries to stay undefeated, coming out of a very successful amateur career and now into the pros, once again training under his father, Charles Williams. Sam Smith along with Bob Spagnola as we once again greet you back here at ringside. And speaking of Jeremy Williams, he's a young man that had the good amateur career, but also was a guy that comes in with a little coolness behind that 11-0 record. Let's take a look at Jeremy Williams, the main event fighter today.
I'm coming right at you.
21-year-old Jeremy Williams is a new flashy heavyweight that has enjoyed a quick rise to the top with an 11-0 record and a smooth relationship with his trainer, his father, Charles Williams, who started in boxing at a very young age.
I started boxing when I was like 7 years old, and what interested me in boxing was my father. He'd always had boxing tapes on, boxing fights, and I was growing up under 2 sisters, so I had no choice but to learn how to defend myself and defend them.
Williams has excellent quickness for a heavyweight, and with 8 knockouts in his first 11 fights, some have dubbed him, because of that power, as the next Mike Tyson, a comparison Jeremy's not buying.
I'm not the next Mike Tyson. I'm the first Jeremy Williams, who is coming of age in my own time, being a professional fighter, not looking to ride on anybody's coattails.
As an amateur, Williams won several national titles, including Junior Olympics and Police Athletic League crowns in 1988. His dream of working hard into the Olympic Games were halted by 2 losses to Montel Griffin in the Olympic box-off. As a pro, Williams has opened the eyes of many who believe that he can challenge for a title and maybe as early as next year. But he likes to concentrate on one fight at a time, and right now it's Mark Young.
I sparred with Mark Young a couple of times. He's a nice guy. He's a nice person, and he has strong boxing skills, and I'd like to beat him. I know I can beat him if I just do what my father tells me to do.
At 11-0, Williams has a warning for Young, and he's not afraid to get right in his face.
Come on, hey buddy, you can run, but you can't hide. From the east side, Night Stalker. So look out, partner.
I guess the only way to describe him would be very confident in Jeremy Williams. 11-0 so far with 8 knockouts in his career, and quite obviously against Mark Young, he's in there with a tiger by his tail. Sam Smith along with Bob Spagnola back here at ringside at Resorts International, and I'm looking forward to seeing Jeremy Williams. We made mention at the top of the show, it's a brand new fighter. We haven't seen him on the Explosion as of yet, but a lot of people around the country are putting a lot of experience behind him and certainly saying he can be one of the better ones. We'll find out today.
He's got the pedigree for it. He had the big amateur credentials, and he fights like a smaller weight fighter. He's not a big, heavy. I mean, he's 210 pounds over that now, but that's all come in the last year or so. He was a light heavyweight and amateur, and he can box smooth. He can punch. He's got an excellent left hook. He can do it all, and that's all that toutedness isn't just because of anything other than that he's already got it done as an amateur, and they're looking for big things from him in the professional ranks.
What about Mark Young? He's a guy that clearly said he was out of shape when he fought Buster Mathis Jr. Even though he continued to fight him very well, he's come back and fought extremely well in some of the other fights as long as he's in condition, and that's a key for him today, I think, isn't it?
Mark's always had a tendency to fight. You know, if he had a half a tank of gas, he'd run it out, and then that would be it. He gave George Foreman trouble for 5-6 rounds before he quit on the stool in 7th. Same thing with Alex Stewart. Gave him a lot of trouble before he succumbed, and if he is in the kind of condition that they claim to have him in, he'll be there and give Jeremy Williams a good run for his money today.
There's a good look at Charlotte, North Carolina's Mark Young, 29 years of age, 6 feet tall, weighed in at 231 for this fight today. Weighed in at 240 when he fought Buster Mathis, only 9 pounds down, but he said it's made a big difference in his training, and we'll find out. He also has come out of the Charlotte area to train in Philadelphia, where he felt he got a lot better handling under Billy Early, and also got a better opportunity to fight some very premium heavyweight type people. And he'll be in there with this man, Jeremy Williams, as you heard on our feature, a very confident young man out of Long Beach, California. And what can you say about him? You made mention a great pedigree, a good amateur career, those national titles, and you can see a little nasty stare across the ring as I would imagine that Mr. Jeremy Williams looks like he's prepared and ready for this fight today, Bob.
Oh, yeah, Jeremy Williams is a tough kid. You know, he's got a little bit of an attitude, but hey, you got to have an attitude in this business. You know, you're coming in there, and people try to intimidate you. You know, he's not going to have any of that, and that's a mark of a good fighter. A kid like Buster Mathis Jr., he doesn't worry about anything. He's not a confrontational person, but Jeremy Williams is, and you know, he likes to go to the bank with that.
Well, Buster Mathis 1-10 over this man. How will Jeremy Williams fare? Let's meet him. We go upstairs. Let's go to our ring announcer. Here is Ed Darian.
We are back live from Merv Griffin's Resorts Casino Hotel here in the boxing capital of the world of Atlantic City, New Jersey, for this evening's main event, and is being promoted by Corona Extra in association with Merv Griffin's Resorts. Is approved by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board, the Honorable Larry Hazard Senior Commissioner, the Honorable Jerry Gormley Chairman. The members of the board include Gary Shaw and Al Daniels. Our Chief Boxing Inspector is Lawrence Wallace. The judges, Eva Shane, Tom Kazmarek, and Al DeVito. The Chief Physician in attendance at ringside this afternoon is Dr. Frank B. Doggett, along with his 2 excellent colleagues, Dr. Earl C. Shaw and Dr. Eric F. Wormser. Our timekeeper to bell is Arthur Spell, counting for all the knockdown seconds, alternate referee Jimmy Condon. In the ring at this time, the man in charge of the scheduled 10-round heavyweight bout, referee Rudy Paddle. Heavyweight explosion continues. Introducing first in the blue corner, wearing the emerald green trunks with the red and gold trim. He weighed in at an even 217 pounds. This young man is undefeated in 11 pro bouts with 8 knockouts. The former 3-time world amateur champion from Long Beach, California. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Jeremy Williams. And his opponent in the red corner, wearing the blue trunks with the black trim. He weighed in at an even 231 pounds. He has 13 wins, 19 losses, 1 draw, with 8 knockouts. From Charlotte, North Carolina. Boxing fans, here is Mark the Storm Young.
Well, Mark Young says that the storm is brewing again. As you look at the tail of the tape and some of the numbers, of course, Mark Young, the older of the 2, and has that 231 pounds compared to the quicker 217. Slight reach advantage for Williams as well. The New Jersey rules will be governing this fight. Again, as you see from top to bottom, the knockdown rule is in effect, along with the standing 8. Also, the 10-point scoring system. And, of course, the doctor can, of course, make an opportunity to stop the fight. Heavyweight explosion, once again, from Merv Griffin's Resorts International Casino Hotel. And we're ready for our main event as Jeremy Williams coming out on the green. And in the blue is Mark Young. Young, one of those fighters that will stay around. And Jeremy Williams, a man that would like to get him out of there with 8 knockouts in 11 professional wins without a loss.
Jeremy Williams getting started with a good, solid power left jab. Try to set up everything from that.
Now a little bit better conditioning for Mark Young. What's that going to do to his game plan today, Bob?
Well, like I said, Mark's the kind of guy, he lets it all hang out. If he's got 4 rounds in him, that's what you'll get. You know, some fighters, they try to spread that 4 rounds of conditioning over 10 rounds and not fight much at all. And we'll see how many rounds Mark Young's got in him, but as many as he's in condition for, he'll fight for. There he goes, getting young. I mean, getting low. I said getting young, but that's what he'll try to do, get you out of your game plan. A guy will never get that low on you in the amateurs. You can't bring your head below your opponent's belt line.
Young, of course, very limited amateur career. Had only 2 fights, one of both of those by knockout. So he is learning as he goes along as a pro. And realizes quite realistically at 29 years of age that the time has come for him to either do something in the ring or think about trying to do something else. And as he says, the storm once again is brewing.
But he's got a little method to his madness, Mark Young. You know, he knows he can't outbox Jeremy Williams. He's got to go in. He's got to make something happen. He's got to, maybe he can get Williams a little frustrated, maybe make him reach, but Williams doesn't seem to have any of it. He's sitting back there. He seems very focused and concentrating. He's just going to box. If a knockout comes, it'll come.
Jeremy Williams with a lightning fast left jab. And he's been feeding to Mark Young almost religiously through this first round. You see it there again, just a snapping left jab. Then he dug a right to the body and got caught with an uppercut right hand from Mark Young. There's that left jab again.
Young's got a dangerous uppercut. His form is terrible on it, but he's very strong and he lands it.
Knocked off balance by almost his own punch. It was going to be interesting to see what 21-year-old Jeremy Williams would do when he first came out against Mark Young. Would it be Young that forces him into the corner, or would it be Williams that was the pursuer? Right now, even though none has been fought on the ropes so far, neither fighter has really taken full advantage of the other. So it's still a touch-and-go feeling out process here through round 1. Even though Williams now lands with a good combination, Young tries to counter off the rope and slips away from another looping left hand.
And that jab at Jeremy Williams already got a little blood flowing out of Mark Young's nose. Excellent power jab by the young prospect from Long Beach.
You can see Young kind of inviting that right hook as he holds the left hand down to his waist. We finish up the action in round 1. Young kind of making a little advance at Jeremy Williams. Williams is going to try to advance back as they'll head for their corners. So apparently they had not settled everything they needed to in the first 3 minutes. They wanted to have a little extra out of round 1. A little showmanship. By the way, Young is standing over in his corner. I don't recall him standing before. Was he standing during the other fight against?
Might be an indication of that he's in better shape this time, but I don't agree with it myself.
Jeremy Williams, meanwhile, is taking full advantage of the stool on the other side.
4 right hands this time instead of the jab. Okay?
And working outside the ropes. Let's pick that. There's that quick lightning fast left jab. And again, trying to follow it up with the right hand if he can, but he snaps it right in between the gloves. Once again, a Mark Young. That's been an effective punch so far. They're scheduled for 10 rounds here on the Heavyweight Explosion 5 from Atlantic City. Jeremy Williams on the left, Mark Young on the right. Young is making his second appearance on the Heavyweight Explosion. A brand new look at Jeremy Williams, undefeated in his first 11 pro fights.
Yeah, his dad told him he wanted to see the right hand in this round. Let's see what he does. But he's getting off with a good left jab. He feints a couple of times. It's a good power. It's like a poleaxe, Sam. And that kind of jab will get you unsettled. That's no flicking jab.
Trying to lead with a looping right hook to the body that time rather than setting it up with a jab. Throws Young against the ropes and then attacks with a combination. Big left hook. Young's in some trouble on the ropes. Rudy Battles watching closely, but Williams is going right after him. He's down. Young is down and rolls almost out of the ring. He's going to get up quickly here, but Jeremy Williams with some big punches has Young on the canvas. Rudy Battle asking if he's all right. Asking to get his hands up, and here comes Williams.
Left hook.
A left hook, a right hook, and he's down again. A second knockdown in the round. 3 knockdown rule in effect in New Jersey. One more time. Young to go down in this round, and it is over. Rudy Battle hesitating to count momentarily, getting Williams over in the neutral corner. And now here he comes again. Looping left hand to the body. A right hand over the top. If Young goes down again, it's all over. He's teeter-tottering, but it's not down yet. Williams with a right hand.
Big right hand. He's got
Another
Young
right
hurt
hand.
again.
A left hand. Young is reeling to the ropes. Young is in trouble. Williams trying to get him out here in the second round. A left hand, a right hand. Young is leaning on the ropes to stay up. Another right hand. Now Rudy Battle is getting them separated, and here he comes again. Mark Young may be surviving a 2 knockdown here.
Using everything he knows, trying to get through this round.
Williams again right on top of him. He backs into the ropes in the opposite corner. Young looks like he has recovered for the most part, at least is being a little more defensive to try to hold off the punches.
Jeremy Williams doing a good job trying to finish Mark Young, but he's not, thrown caution to the winds. He's still in a good defensive posture here as Young tries to get his feet underneath him.
You see the time left. There's still plenty of time. Fighter cannot be saved with a bell except for the last round only here in New Jersey. So Mark Young holding on at every opportunity. It'll be interesting to see if he doesn't finish him off in this round, if he's patient enough to fight on in the third and then try to get him in trouble again with a patient attack. Rudy Battle trying to get him broken up again. 2 knockdowns in this round as Williams has floored Young. Young apparently has survived the second round to fight on for a third, and he'll have to regroup in a hurry. Jeremy Williams clearly proving it was a major round for him. Almost on the scorecards. You could score that one almost any way in his favor, but certainly it could go as low as a 10-7 round, and certainly could, and I think it did on your card, Bob.
Yeah, really an awesome round for Jeremy Williams right there. He got Mark Young in trouble early in the round, but he paced himself. He didn't just do it with reckless abandon. He tried to finish him when it didn't come. He composed himself, and he'll be ready to go again.
Let's take a look at how Williams knocked down Young in the first round here, Bob. Setting it up with a lead left, and let's see what he hits him with. The big right hand over the top.
Yeah, I think that was the second knockdown. The first one sent him nearly out of the ring.
Let's take a look at it again and see what he's got here. As again, just an accumulation of punches, and down goes Young as he spins to the campus for a second time. They're heading for the third. Third round of a fight that is very much turned in favor of Jeremy Williams from Long Beach on the left in the green trunks. He knocked Young down twice in the second round. A combination of punches, a right hook the first time, and a left and a right to the body the second time, and a right over the top finally did Young down, but he's up, survived the round, and fights on the third.
Jeremy Williams really impressive in the way that he tried to finish Mark Young. He didn't get so overzealous. Now, Young's showing him, hey, I still got some power in there, and you can't just walk to me any kind of way, but Jeremy Williams got some ideas of his own. He's going to go right back to the basics and get that job started. Work off that power left jab. And he also did some real good work with the left hook to the body there when he had Young hurt there, Sam, in the second round, and those will pay him dividends later in the fight.
You can see how he came with a straight left jab and then uppercut and hook to the body with the left hand as he followed that jab. So he's got Young guessing on which punch will be coming at him next. He's got a good arsenal of punches. Does Jeremy Williams, 21-year-old youngster out of Long Beach, California. Amateur record, we made mention of all the titles that he won. He lost only 4 fights out of 172 as an amateur. Just almost unbelievable. He is also managed by Bill Clayton. We made mention early on in the fight game. Of course, Bill Clayton very instrumental in the Mike Tyson climb to success. And now finding another diamond in the rough here in Jeremy Williams.
Obviously, it's like the old Oakland Raiders. They used to say, they didn't reload, they didn't rebuild, they reloaded, and that's the way Bill Clayton and Steve Lott are doing with their young prospect Jeremy Williams here. They worked with Mike Tyson, had a good run with him. They've got Tommy the Duke Morrison, WBO heavyweight champion right now, and they've got Jeremy Williams coming up. some awesome heavyweights.
Bill Clayton, by the way, is in attendance here this afternoon and watching on at ringside, and he kind of like what he sees right now. Even though the third round has been anything but a boxing match, as they are both being rather cautious at this stage.
Well, Young's relying on all his experience. He came out there and tried to leave an impression with Jeremy Williams that he hadn't been hurt, but he'd been hurt. You can be sure of that.
Young doing a little clowning around. Williams is not buying any of it. He may be rather brash and a little bit arrogant to the side, but he's very confident as well and doesn't buy the act that Young is trying to feed him right now.
Yeah, Jeremy, he gives that impression, but really he's a gentleman. He just, he knows he's got to take business. The only time we get to see this kid is, the day before the fight, and he's got his fight face on. I've been with he and his father after fights, and really, you can't say nice enough things about him, Sam.
Well, they fought through 3 here in Atlantic City now. Jeremy Williams, after getting Young in trouble early on, relegated himself to just seeing what the third round might bring. If Young was going to come at him, he was going to counter. He had an opportunity to go forward. He was going to do that, more or less. It was kind of a resting round by both fighters in the third round.
Williams had extended himself in the second round trying to finish Mark Young, so he had to rest a little bit, box behind that jab, and Mark Young was more than happy to accommodate him and try to get his legs underneath him. So I think we'll be back to the larger fireworks in this fourth round coming up, Sam.
Mark Young continues to stand in his corner. They continue to ice him down from below as Bill Early will work outside the ropes, and Young leaning on the ropes as he gets the second shots as we head for the fourth round. Heavyweight Explosion 5 from Atlantic City, New Jersey, and Resorts International. Mark Young in the blue, Jeremy Williams in the green, Sam Smith along with Bob Spagnola at ringside. Delighted you could join us for the 5th edition of the Heavyweight Explosion. We, of course, are showcasing some up-and-coming new stars, certainly in the form of Jeremy Williams, and some older fighters that are trying to make their mark again in the form of Mark Young here today.
Mark's coming in that wild right uppercut, but he, like I said, his form isn't much with it, Sam, but he's so strong, he can hurt you with it. But Jeremy Williams, if he beats him to the punch with that nice short left hook, I think we're going to see more of the same.
There you see Williams trying to do damage when Young gets inside. Mark Young again trying to defend with that right hand, holding the left way down. Trying to rely that he's got enough quickness or speed to get away from Jeremy Williams when he throws the right hand. Caught him that time on the shoulders, catches him again that time, caught him right on the side of the face. A wash to a clinch and broken up by Rudy Battle.
Men, they're fighting in for positioning right now.
I really appreciate a 21-year-old by the name of Jeremy Williams. 2 knockdowns, second round, patient enough to fight the fight he needed to fight in the third, and doing more of the same in the fourth here, Bob.
He's not going to let Mark Young, take him out of his fight game with all these annex, that Mark will use. But Mark's, he's got a good uppercut himself. And there's that left hook by Williams. But I think he's most effective on the outside, setting things up with that left jab, and then working his way in behind it.
By the way, Bob Spagnola, the manager of world champion Orlando Canizales, and you've got him in action coming up very shortly, I understand.
Yeah, he's back in the gym now, chomping at the bit.
Hoping to defend his title sometime probably in the month of November or December, certainly. And we're looking forward to seeing what happens with Orlando Canizales, one of the most popular fighters around the world. Very, very likable young man from Laredo, Texas.
I really like the way that Jeremy Williams, he moves his head and shifts his weight well. His balance, he's under control at all times in there in the ring. And when he gets in these clinches, he's not trying to muscle with Mark Young in there. He's waiting for Rudy Battle, who's very capable to do his job, get him out of there and start again from scratch. This guy's a right-hand lead there.
This is the kind of fight, Bob, that gets the crowd a little restless. They saw all that action in the second round, and they expected more of the same in the third, now in the fourth. And even though, as you pointed out, they're both kind of jockeying for position here, the crowd getting a little bit restless right now on the floor.
No, they are. But just as they started to boo some of the earlier fights, you know, I mean, you can't fight for the crowd. You got to do certain opponents just won't let you. And Jeremy Williams, their heads came together a little bit there.
Jeremy Williams, 21, the fresher of the two fighters, it appears, even though Mark Young continues to stand in his corner. An opportunity during our feature, and of course, getting all of our footage together. He was really kind of hawking it up for the cameras, doing a lot of things. Of course, Mark Young, we had to prod a little bit more to get kind of that nastiness out of him, a very low-key, laid-back type fighter. Nonetheless, he says he knows that he has to get that lightning and thunder going again, to get the stars out of the way and get the storm going again. And he hoped to bring that here today. A hurricane, I think he called it. It's been anything but a hurricane today, but again, there's been the storm clouds have been gathering. You know it's still there. Just hasn't approached the Atlantic City area as of yet.
That's right. He told us he's not starving anymore, but he sure is hungry.
Well, he's hungry enough to be heading for the 5th round of this fight this afternoon with Jeremy Williams. They're fighting in round number 5 of our heavyweight explosion 5. And this is the feature event as Jeremy Williams, undefeated at 11-0 in the green trunks, now starting to get a little bit more saturated with water, fighting against the blue trunks of Mark Young. Young again down twice in the 2nd round. Revived himself enough to be here in the 5th.
Nice jab by Jeremy Williams.
He's in
turns
trouble
it into a hook. Mark Young's got a good chin, though. He absorbs that hook.
Now he's starting to talk to Williams a little bit, so the storm apparently is approaching Atlantic City. The thunder and lightning definitely starting in the eyes and the demeanor here of Mark Young. Williams is trying to defuse the storm as he knocks him down for a 3rd time, the 1st time here in the 5th round.
Mark went over to his corner and told him that was a slip. Got his legs tangled up.
No slip there. As big punches by Williams.
Tripped over a left hook.
And here comes Williams back to the attack again. Young holding on, trying to keep any more punishment from coming his way. Literally picking him up, and now Rudy Battle is reading the riot act to him. Any more of that, and it's not only going to be points deduction, but even worse consequences.
Here comes that jab. Jeremy gets it all started with that power left hand. And Mark's just got nothing to answer that back with.
Williams again snuck a right hand in there. Williams kind of inviting Young to get off the ropes and come to the center of the ring and fight. Halfway through the 5th round.
Good assortment of punches by the young prospect, Jeremy Williams, here.
There you see the combination thrown by Williams. He's got great angles, Bob. Goes from everywhere.
He really does. And as we said in the opening, Sammy, you know, Mark is an animated guy. He'll get low and get wild with you. But this kid is a dangerous puncher, and you giving him an opening, and he can finish you.
Of his 8 knockouts, 7 of them came in the first 3 rounds, 4 in the first, 3 in the 2nd, and none in the 3rd. So actually inside the 2 rounds, he had won 7 of his 8 fights that he won by knockout there. But of course, we're now in the 5th.
And you also have to appreciate, you know, he's like, there's a cut over the eye of Mark Young. Jeremy Williams is just one year away from being a 3-round fighter. So he's making a transition. And when he gets out into those later rounds, he probably has a tendency to box a little bit more, which he's very capable of doing. He's a beautiful boxer. He's not just a thumper. He's not a one-dimensional fighter at all.
Mark Young is going to have to do something special to turn this back his way after those knockdowns in the 7th. Last win for him came in November of 1992 when he won a 4-round undercard fight against Rick Honeycutt. So it's been a long time against victories. Of course, losing in 10 rounds to Buster Mathis Jr. in August in his last fight on Explosion 3. Closing seconds of the 5th round. At the end of this round, we'll be halfway through this scheduled 10-rounder from Merv Griffins Resorts International. Jeremy Williams, one of the interesting things we told you about at the top of the show, did not do as you see him working on that cut a little more on the right eye of Mark Young, and that'll be of concern before this fight is over. But back to the point on Jeremy Williams is the fact that he did not do any sparring under his father, Charles Williams. Your thoughts on that, Bob Spagnola?
Well, I don't think it's adversely affected him in any here, Sam. I mean, different people have different notions about that, but you're dealing with heavyweights, and, you know, fighters get banged up in the ring. I'm sure he had some sparring, not absolutely none, but they're confident with their pad work and, you know, the conditioning regiment that they put him through, that, you know, he doesn't have to be one of these guys doing 70, 100 rounds a fight to get prepared, and that's the way they feel it. That's what they have confidence in. Obviously, it's working.
Well, was it a stagger or was it a punch that put him down? Young, a big right hand started his problems, and he was on his way down. It definitely was a right hand on the knockdown. As he battled away here as we get ready to head into the 6th round of this fight, and a replay again of the knockdown of the last round. That was the 3rd time that Young had gone down, and now some string problems on the right glove of Young, quickly eliminated there. Very nicely done by Rudy Battle. Big right hand by Williams over the top again. Young clenching to try to keep any further punches from coming.
Nice right hand lead by Jeremy Williams, right on the mark, and Mark Young relying on all his defensive skills to survive through here.
Big right hand has Young in trouble. He's trying to clinch to hang on, and Williams already knocking Young down 3 times here in the fight, is going for another.
And the blood on the back of Jeremy Williams isn't his own.
Young with a cut over his left eye. His pride certainly hurt here this afternoon with this 21-year-old youngster, Jeremy Williams, knocking him down twice in the 2nd, again in the 5th. And now they're in round number 6.
Williams taking his time. He turns the jab into a hook and lands it flush on Mark Young, who's grabbing, holding. I can't blame him for that, Sam.
You know, the toughest fight by Williams came, he said, against Marion Wilson. He won in 8 rounds in March of this year. Fighting at 217 pounds, exactly what he's fighting at today. The heaviest, by the way, he's fought as a pro. He not only was knocked down, but also got a cut against Williams, but survived to win. And he said that truly was his toughest he's had as a pro.
Yeah, Mo Wilson's a very tough guy out of Baltimore. Strong, hard-headed, and awkward. Comes in with his head a lot, and I think that's what he cut Jeremy Williams with. But those kind of guys, when you got a fighter like Jeremy Williams, Bill Cayton knows, you know, you're going to put him in there. You know, you got to. A lot of guys won't go near him. You know, other young prospects. Although his Darnell Nicholson, who was on the Olympic team with as a 200-pound representative for the United States, took the fight with Jeremy Williams and was knocked out in 3 rounds. You don't see too many people putting prospects together at that stage, but they're very confident with this kid, and they're willing, you know, to take some chances. He shined in that fight, and it was great exposure for him.
Well, he's been fighting since a youngster in the amateur ranks, certainly under the tutelage of his own father, Charles Williams. He got under the direction of Kevin Rooney as he tees off on Young again and has him in trouble. Another right hand, and Young is going to be out. He falls literally out of the ropes, and this one is over. Young falls clear out of the ring, has a desperate cut on the forehead, and Williams celebrating across the way, and there is major concern for Mark Young. He is down and out on the ring apron. The people at ringside doing yeoman job to even keep him from falling even more. The doctors are out there quickly. Major concern as across the way there is celebration, but again it'll be tampered considerably by the sight across the ring as Mark Young on his back, almost helpless, as Williams does win the fight. He gets the big knockout here in the 6th round. As he is toweled down and cleaned off again, they continue to work on Mark Young across the way. He was in trouble with a right hook was going down. As he was going down, Jeremy Williams continued to connect, and there is Bill Cayton as he's in the ring with Jeremy Williams. And there is Mark Young. Let's take a look at the damage that was done again to Mark Young that finally sent him through the ropes. There's the left hook to the body. Again, he had already been stunned with a right hook now to get him in this posture. The right hand to the chin got him in more trouble. And here is the major punch right off the temple and the left side of the head. He goes through the ropes, out of the ropes, and is caught by the people at ringside. And wisely, that could have been something that considerably saved more damage to Mark Young, because he could have fallen clearly completely off the apron and out of the ring. Again, another look from a different angle. This will give you a better look at the right hand of the temple. It's coming right there, and that's the one that did the damage, and out of the ring he goes. You can see Williams knew that he was in trouble and held off, did not go after him any further, as Young is still on his back and now is being helped to his stool, and you'll hear the roar in the background for that. Dr. Doggett and his associates from New Jersey all out trying to help the fallen Mark Young as Jeremy Williams wins in the knockout here in the 6th round and moves his record to 12-0. Bill Caton along with our own Bob Spagnola as they visit here in the center of the ring, waiting for conversation from Jeremy Williams and the official announcement of the time. Let's see if we can get the official announcement of the time. Let's go upstairs. Here's go to Ed Darian.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time of this bout, 2 minutes and 31 seconds of the 6th round, and a winner by a knockout, and still undefeated, Jeremy Williams. Williams